right, in this video, we're going to look at reviewing proportions, unit rates, and conversions. Okay, so we've got Tariq pays $22.10 for 2.6 pounds of salmon. What is the price per pound of the salmon? So anytime I'm looking for per pound, I'm looking for unit rate, which tells me I'm going to be dividing. So I've got $22.10 divided by 2.6. So again, with my decimals, move it once, and then I can move it up. So I really have 221 divided by 26. All right, so 26 cannot divide into 2 or into 22. So now I'm looking to see 26 can divide into 221. It's 8 times, which is 208. So then I've got 221 minus 208, which is 13. Bring down my decimal, or bring down my 0, excuse me. 26 it can divide into 130 5 times, which is 130. And I'm done, so I have $8.50 each. Now, if you don't like the dividing part, what you can also do is kind of take your best guess, and you can do 2.6 times A and see if that gives you the $22.10. Obviously not, because it's way too big. This is more than I started with. This is pretty close to what I'm starting with. So really B is the only answer that makes any sense at all. All right, let's look at another one. So Kira downloaded 264 pictures on her computer. These pictures took up 528 megabytes of space on her computer. If each picture takes up the same amount of space, how many megabytes would 35 pictures take up? So I've got pictures over megabytes. I'm going to set up my proportion. So I have 264 pictures, go with 528 megabytes. And then I have 35 pictures, so that's going to go on the top here with the pictures. And then I have an X down here. Now, what I'm going to do here is basically use some logic to get rid of some answer choices to start with. So I see that 264 and 528. And notice the 528 is larger than the 264, which tells me that this space down here must be larger than the 35. Well, there's only one answer here where that makes sense. Now, if I were actually going to solve, I would do 528 times 35. So I'm just going to kind of show you how I get that answer. This is 18,400. Things running out here. 18,480. And then I would divide that by the 264. And I still get 70. Now that's a whole lot of work and an awful lot of multiplying and dividing. So what I try to have people remember is just think logically about things. If I know that the bottom number has to be bigger than the top number, none of these other answer choices have that bottom number being bigger than the top number. All right. Yvette uses 6 grams of tea leaves to make 24 fluid ounces. So it looks like I'm dealing with grams and fluid ounces. 6 grams, 24 fluid ounces. And then I have 288 more fluid ounces, which would go down here on the bottom. Okay, again, I'm going to use some logic to get rid of some answer choices. I notice 6 over 24. 24 is larger than 6. So 288 has to be larger than whenever it goes here. So that eliminates this one. That's too big. 2 also would be way too small because this is getting larger. 28 to 288 is getting bigger. So this would need to be getting bigger. Also a half really makes no sense here either. And again, just by process of elimination, I have my answer of 72. One other way you can look at this is to say 6 over 24 is really the same thing as 1/4. Okay, and then I can see that this is going to be times 72 that way, or I can do my cross multiplication. 288 times 6 divided by 24. I'm still going to end up with my answer of 72. So sometimes you'll notice you don't really even have to do math. You just kind of have to use your head. All right, looks like I'm dealing with miles per hour. 27 miles in 2 hours. How far will the boat travel in 1/2 hour? So I can just put that as 0.5. X on the top. Again, let's look and kind of see what's going on here. I know that the 27 is larger than a 2, so this has to be larger than 1/2. Looks like they are actually all larger than 1/2, so now I'm going to go through and do my multiplication. So I'm going to do 27 times 0.5. So it's 35, 13, 1 decimal place, 1 decimal place, and then I need to divide that by 2. Decimal up, so it looks like 3. Nope, I'm sorry, 6. Oh my gosh. 12, 1, 5. And that goes in 7 times. Bring down another 0, 5. So 6.75. The only one here that starts with a 6 is 6 3/4, and we know that 75 hundredths is the same as 6 3/4. So what I chose to do there was to turn my fraction into a decimal. Okay, let's look at a couple more. Distance between 2 towns is 120 kilometers. There's approximately 8 kilometers and 5 miles, so it looks like I'm dealing with kilometers and miles. So 8 kilometers and 5 miles. So 8 goes up here with the kilometers, 5 goes down here with the miles. Then I have 120 kilometers, so that needs to go up here on the top. Okay, and again, I can do my cross multiplication. Again, I'm noticing that 5 is less than 8, so the bottom number actually has to be smaller than the top number. So let's see if there's any I can get rid of. Are there any here that are bigger? Yep, both of those. I can get rid of this one because that would be bigger. 3 doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I already have 5 and went with 8. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for 3 to go with 120. It looks like 117 is probably too big. My guess right now is 75, but let's go through and see. So 120 times 5. It's 600 divided by 8. And I do end up with a 75. All right, let's look at one more. Chloe is 5 feet 4 inches tall. There's 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch. So I'm dealing with centimeters and inches. So 2.54 centimeters for 1 inch. I need to figure out how many inches this is. So 5 times 12 is 60 plus the 4. So I've got 64 inches. I needed to convert that because there's 12 inches in a foot. Then I can have my X on the top. So let's look and see if I can eliminate anything. 2.54 is bigger than 1, so I know my X has to be bigger than 64. This is not bigger than 64. This is not bigger than 64. So I'm down to my last 2. So 2.54 times 64. 16, 21, 8, 9, 10. Hold my place. 24, 32, 12, 15. 2 decimal places, 2 decimal places, and I have an answer of H.